This is Laura again. This is the fourth and final unit of States of Matter. This is Properties of Matter. This is an awesome way to conclude the last 3 lessons that you've done. This is a great way to summarize, to continue to use the vocabulary that you've been using so far, and to talk about the properties of matter for all 3 of the states: liquid, gas, and solid. So to start this lesson, you're going to have 3 different balloons. One that's filled with air, one that's filled with water, and one that was filled with water and frozen. So this lesson does take some prep time. You will want to do this the night before, that way that your balloon is completely solid by the time you have class that day. This is really the only lesson that takes about 24 hours of actual preparation before the lesson. So you can take some time with the students going over each of the balloons. You can ask them, what is the state of matter that is in this balloon, and ask them how they know. It'll be easy for them to say it's air, but it will be harder for them to discuss the actual properties that they know of that makes this air. So you can talk about how it feels, you can talk about what would happen if you popped the balloon, you can talk about all of the things that you talked about previously when you discussed gas. You can do the same thing, ask them what state of matter this is. Make sure that they don't just say water, you want them to say it's liquid. And then you can discuss why it's liquid, how you know it's liquid, and what makes it a liquid. This is an awesome time to make sure that the students are using all of the vocabulary that they've learned so far. The last balloon is the balloon that is filled with the solid ice. This one you can take some more time to kind of go over because it has some more interesting features to it. You can talk about what happens when you leave the balloon out for an extended period of time, and you can talk about what you can do to the balloon to get it to remain frozen and to remain a solid. You can also talk about what state it's currently in and what state it will be in once it starts to melt. Each student will receive, or each group of students will receive one of these balloons that is frozen. They can take some time to look at it, discuss it as a group, and what they will actually do is they will find a place in the classroom that they would like to put the balloon. Just make sure that you guide them to not put the balloon somewhere that will cause a safety hazard. You don't want them to put it on the floor where it could possibly melt, and you don't want someone to slip on it later. So you can guide them to make sure they make an okay choice, but the choice is really up to them. Some of them will probably want to put it in the freezer. If you have one in the classroom, you can guide them to do that. Some of them will want to put it other places to see if it will melt. I would have maybe some bowls available, and possibly they could put it in a bowl and then put it in the location that they would like to put that in. At this time, you can continue through the booklet with them. This will give them a chance to review what they've done from the past 3 lessons and to continue moving on with anything that they have not done so far in the booklet. You can guide them through a few of the activities that you have for lesson 4, and then you can continue to move on to the rest of the lesson. So this lesson will continue, and you're going to be using 2 different kinds of snacks, and you will have 2 different kinds of drink mixes. So in this case, you have 2 different kinds of Pringles. One is flavored for pizza, and one is barbecue. What you'll do is you'll put a small amount of the chips into 2 cups. Each student will receive 2 cups, some with the pizza chips, some with the barbecue chips. The key is that you are not going to tell them what the flavor of the chips is, so make sure that these are hidden so the students do not read or look at them prior to this. What you want them to do is to use their sense of smell to come up with a prediction of what the flavor is going to be. They can close their eyes if that helps, or they can keep their eyes open, but it really needs to be through the scent of smell that they are deciding what the flavor is going to be. Once they have taken some time to smell it and discuss it with their group, they can put their chips aside. They should not eat the chips until you've instructed them to do so. Then you will also do the same with the 2 different kinds of liquids. So ours was fruit punch and lemonade. So what you will do is you'll give them 2 cups, one with the fruit punch, one with the lemonade, and give them a chance to smell. Make sure they do not take a sip of it until you instruct them to do so, and make sure they don't see the labels of the drink mix, else they'll know what it is before smelling it. So this is a time for them to discuss as a group what they think the flavors are and to make appropriate predictions. After they have made their predictions, you can tell them what the flavor of the chips are, and you can tell them what the flavors of the drink are, and then you can allow them time to enjoy their snack. So this is a time to see if their predictions were correct and to discuss that as a group or with their partners. You can complete this lesson by having each group of students collect their frozen balloon from the location that they had previously put it in, and you can discuss as a whole group what happened to their balloon. Some balloons will remain solid, some balloons might be kind of a slushy material, some balloons might have completely melted. This all depends on where the students decided to put the balloons on their own. This can conclude the lesson, and that is it for States of Matter.